Metal Tripping, metal stories straight from hell. Well, actually it's my car. What's up, guys, and welcome back to yet another new episode of Metal Tripping with me, your host Alina. And this one is kind of special to me, to be honest, because this trip takes us to Toronto, Canada. I've been there before, and Canada in general, it's just a beautiful, beautiful country. So, yep, we're crossing the big ocean once again today, and I have the pleasure to talk to a guy I'm pretty sure you guys heard of before, because this dude is somewhat of a celebrity in our scene, in our metal community, and in the YouTube community as well. I'm going to talk to, drumroll please, Nik fucking Nocturnal. Yep. You heard it right, Nik Nocturnal. And everybody who's asking themselves right now, who the hell is Nik Nocturnal? Well, first of all, shame on you. Second of all, you're gonna find out who he is in a few seconds. Right now, just to give you a little background for everybody who never heard of him before, this dude Nik is known not only for his awesome reaction videos to new metal releases on YouTube, but also his incredible speed of covering metal songs on YouTube. It's like, there's a new metal song out by, let's say, Bullet for My Valentine. And this song is out for an hour or so, okay? And then you go to YouTube, and there you find Nik's guitar cover for the song. It's incredible. I mean, how does he do that? I definitely need to ask about that. And about all of that YouTube madness that he's creating over there, and how it feels when bands are actually reacting back to him. And if that wasn't already enough, of course, Nik has his own heavy-ass band as well. The band is called Termina, and that band is heavy. So, yeah, that's on my list as well. Did I mention that Nik has over 500,000, so 500,000 subscribers? Alrighty, no more wasting time, let's call Nik and hope he picks up.
Hello there.
Oh, hello?
Oh, hello. Voices, there are voices.
Hey, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, how you doing?
Nice. I'm good. Now I'm good. How you doing?
Good.
All right. Thank you so much for taking your time, Nik. So
Yeah,
cool.
no problem. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, I would honestly never thought you'd say yes to this.
Yeah, I'm down for, talking with people, interviews, podcasts. They're fun.
Nice.
Why not? If I have time, I'll do one up.
Yeah, cool. Thank you. So should we just jump right into it and just start it?
Sure, go for it.
Okay. Yeah, let's start with some short questions that everybody who's on this podcast needs to answer before we go any further. Okay, brace yourself, Nik. First question, we start light, okay? Light and frothy. Circle pit or mosh pit?
I prefer mosh pit, but I'm also the dude that's usually in the back because I'm just a boomer. I just sit in the back and kind of just like my space nowadays. So I like mosh pit because it limits the chance of someone coming in the back and smashing me in the face accidentally. So I'll say that for now.
Fair enough. Okay, stage diving or crowd surfing?
I'm also the dude who's not a fan of being super close contact with people. So whatever the crowd wants more. I'll go with that. Yeah,
that is smart. Okay, and the last band you saw live before lockdown, before COVID hit?
Oh, that was probably like 2 years ago by now. Oh my god.
Yeah, it's a long time ago.
It was one of two sets. I don't remember which one. It was either the Browning with Ginger, some other band, or Chelsea Grin with Muir, maybe. Oh god,
brutal. Okay,
it's been a while.
Yeah.
All I know is Chelsea Grin fucking wrecked it, and so did the Brownie and Ginger. So whichever those lineups were.
Okay, cool. Best last metal song you heard in the car while driving. What was the last metal song that you heard in the car?
Oh, I was listening to, I think, Sleep Token Alkaline. Yes. That's a banger.
This dude, man, that's crazy. Okay. Best road trip you ever did?
We went to Niagara Falls, actually, me and my girlfriend, for one of our anniversaries, and it wasn't too far away. I don't take many road trips or go many places, but yeah, that was fun. We just had some metal beats going for a nice drive and got lost like 50 times, and that was pretty much it.
Okay. Okay, 3 left. What's the most non-metal thing about you, Nick?
Myself, probably. just me in general. I don't know. Me, I'm not a typical. Well, it's not really typical. I think nowadays a lot of modern dudes just like it's more so like you just like metal and you're kind of a metalhead. I feel like before it was much more like you had to get the aesthetics, you had to get the image right. You know, you had to only like specific bands and hate everyone who likes other bands and stuff.
True.
I feel like it's a lot more open now. So, yeah, I don't know. Me, yeah, that's the least metal thing about me.
Okay. 3 words that describe the sound of Termina, your own band, like your own project. Just 3 words. I know it's tough.
Oh, okay. Modern, weird metal.
I like that. I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. Okay, and the last one. If you had to choose you as a guitar player and you can only pick one, would it be ambience or delay?
Oh well, for me to get usually ambience, I need to crank some delay. But if we're not doing delay and it's just reverb, I pick reverb to get that ambience any day over delay. Delay's fun, but nothing is funner than feeling like you're in a cavern and
Right.
sounding like that. So
Right.
yeah.
Okay, those were the short questions that I have for you. Before we get into the YouTube madness that you create, let's go down like memory lane for a little bit. What made you a metalhead? Like, what was like the band or the song that made you into the like heavier music scene? What was that? Who was that?
Right. Well, growing up with my cousin, essentially, we'd play video games all the time, and then I would just be in his room, and he would have like Under Oath. He'd have like Alexis on Fire going. He'd have Marilyn Manson going, which is not the best thing to say nowadays, but back in those days, it was popping. And he would have things like Even As I Lay Dying, Avenged, Sevenfold going. I just kind of grew to like it, essentially.
Yeah.
And I guess that was really the introduction for me to metal. And then I got more attached to As I Lay Dying, and then I, would search on YouTube like similar bands, and I'd see like All That Remains, or I'd see like Bullet for My Valentine, or Killswitch Engage, and then that's I think my real like introduction, I guess, to like the heavier music or metalcore at least.
Yeah.
And then from there, I just kind of kept expanding into different like subgenres of whatever, in power metal or symphonic metal or gent or eventually deathcore, which then led me through a heavier route. And then that's kind of what is the culmination of my taste nowadays. Is really just I'm definitely like a core kid at heart. I like metalcore, I think, probably the most, just because it's what I grew up with a bit like first. And then everything else, I just also love elements of all those. I always had periods of my life which I listened to a lot of those things, and now I kind of just am like, whatever.
Whatever.
Metal, if it's fun and sounds good, I'm cool with it.
Yeah, sweet. And during that time, you picked up the guitar as well, or did you play the guitar
it
way
was during
further?
that time. Essentially, we'd play games and listen to metal, and then he got Guitar Hero, and then Guitar Hero, led me down the path that a lot of guitarists surprisingly go through of, oh wow, this is really fun. I want to do this actually, like I want to actually try to play guitar.
Yeah.
And then I, got a guitar, took lessons for like a year or something. And then, I just kind of went with it and really loved it. And it kind of was it coincided with my love for metal. So it was like, oh, I really love this song. I was like, oh, can I try to play it? Most likely no, but like I'd try it, and then it kind of fed off each other essentially, and that's really what pushed me to what I do today, which I don't even know nowadays because I just sit here and react to things instead of play guitar a lot of the time. But yeah.
Yeah, that is so cool. So let's start with some YouTube madness facts, some numbers and facts for the listeners. You joined, and correct me if I'm wrong, okay? You joined YouTube in 2013, right? That was like where you put on some videos?
Yeah,
like the first
I think
videos?
my first video, if you go on my channel now, it's like 2014 or something. I did have videos earlier. I don't know what happened to them. I don't know. I probably just deleted them because it's not like the earlier videos I have on there now are good, but it's, they're not there anymore. So I might have made something in 2013 or even 2012 on like a different account. I'm not really sure, but that was definitely around the time when I started something, at least on YouTube.
Okay, and the last time I checked, like a few minutes ago, you had 450,000 subscribers, so almost like 500,000. 1,113 videos out, and there's one video called Slavic Metal, which is funny as fuck. That has over 2.1 million views. And you do guitar covers, like reaction videos, collabs, and other videos like all things metal, like videos like that. And all of those have been clicked over 78 million times. Huge ass numbers.
Yeah, it's a weird number to think about. I've been doing it for so long, so it's like, oh yeah, that's happening now, and you're kind of just like, it's kind of like a shock sometimes. But I've always been the person that likes to just. I try to live in the present, but I always like to look forward. It's like even today, it's like instead of being like, oh, how have things gone? I'm like, what do I need to do for this week? It's like a different, that more forward mindset. And then I very rarely have those times of like, oh, I don't have to do anything. Okay, let's just sit and be like, oh, wow, that did really well. Oh, wow, that's actually going pretty well. Oh, okay. Like I don't need to panic every second or, feel anxious or anything. But yeah, no, it's crazy. It's been a long, fun, weird grind, and it's cool that people still watch my shit, even though I've been doing this for like 2014, right? Almost 7 years now. Just crazy to me.
Yeah, and let's talk about that a little bit more. Just fill me in. How did it start? Why YouTube? Why did you say, all right, I'm becoming a YouTuber and react and cover songs?
Yeah. Essentially, through the love of metal and guitar, I also love watching YouTube, and I would see these dudes like Killer Buckeye and Finn. I always forget his last name. Some Finn dude who also was covering stuff at the time, like covering like bands like Desolate Dying, Bullet for My Valentine, and doing these like one-take covers, which were awesome. And then I was also watching like dudes who are instrumental artists that just put their original music on YouTube, like Sithue and Shades of Black. Now many people know of him. He was super cool. And I was like, and then I also noticed that the dudes who were doing covers started to put their original music on there. And I already was learning songs a lot. That's just something I love to do. I never like cared about filming myself or anything, but I just loved sitting there and learning songs. And I loved writing music. And I was like, oh, well, these people are doing that. Like, why not just try it, And then it'll be a way for my original music to maybe get out there, because I know if I just post an original song, like no one cares, like no one knows who I am, right? Obviously. And also the songs, especially looking back now, are not that great, right? So I was like, well, there's got to be something that kind of separates me. So I was like, well, let's try doing the cover thing and seeing how that goes. And then through doing that, I accidentally fell in love with actually like making content, which is really funny. And actually creating YouTube content and doing covers and things like that, which again evolved further and further into me doing weirder and weirder shit on YouTube. And yeah, that's really how it all started, just watching people do it. And I was like, oh, that looks fun. Like, I guess I'll try it. Why not?
Yeah, you are. It's an amazing journey. And the community, like the metal community or the YouTube community, you're known for like reacting and covering really, 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 really fast. Like there's a new song, and like an hour later or 2 hours, there's the new Nik video. And I'm always asking myself, how does he do that? Like how does a day in the life of Nik Nocturnal looks like? It's like, are you even sleeping, eating? Do you have a life, dude?
Oh, I don't have a life. No, that I don't have. I do sleep though, but no, when it comes to the fast stuff, before it was just, I would just be alert. I would see something in my sub feed and I'd be like, this came out like 10 minutes ago, and I'd just go, if I had, if I wasn't in the middle of literally like a class at, or whatever, I was like, all right, like go, like what else I didn't have much else to do. So I would just kind of go for it. And I was just fortunate enough that was like something special, that I could learn stuff kind of fast. I didn't know that was anything special. Not to say I learned it super accurately at that time, but people were impressed that I learned it fast. I was like, oh, that's cool. So at the time, it was just stuff would come out. And then as I would get used to the patterns of like, oh, when does music actually come out? Like what days do music, like what labels are these coming out of? Like, so then I'll subscribe to them on YouTube so I don't like miss out like on a release, right?
Yeah, sure.
So I got more used to that. And then just doing it like in right away and getting better also at doing that. I got a little faster at it. And I did that for a long time, and it was super fun, and I still do them nowadays, but it's such a weird thing to do nowadays because labels actually care about YouTubers a little. So they'll actually show, like, they'll actually like respect them and actually like work with them. So like nowadays, like I'll get some stuff early, which again, that was not a luxury I had 5 years ago, or like for the past like first 5 years of doing this, right? I would just do it. So nowadays, that's why it's kind of weird. It's like, if I get a song early, it's like the specialty of it being done fast. Like, dude, I got it a week early. You know, it's not like it's nothing special anymore. So I don't do those as much, also because I got sick of them, and also people just like reactions more. So that's why I've done the new cover fast thing a lot less. There are still a few which came out, and I don't know the label or anything, and I just do them fast, which is fun. But yeah, now it's like, you know, they can send it to me early. It's like, oh, all right. Like, I have it. It's nothing super special. But yeah, the first 5 years, that was just, oh, it comes out. Fucking, okay, let's go. You know, like, get shit ready, go on the grind. And it became almost like a trigger for me of just like, oh, go, do it. You know, don't even think about it.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, there are some crazy theories in the comments section, like you writing the songs for the bands, or have like connections to
funny.
people. Yeah, pretty funny. But are there some days where like you're waking up and like, nah, not today, YouTube, not gonna happen?
Yeah.
How do you get yourself motivated to create content?
I just do. I don't know. I used to have those a little bit more until I went through a lot of different periods of YouTube. A lot of grindy periods and a lot of like, let's just have fun kind of thing. Because it always starts with let's have fun, and then you get like addicted to it, and it becomes like this grindy thing, which is a little unhealthy, at least for me.
Yeah.
So I think like 2 years ago or something, that was bad, because that really felt like, okay, I'm just grinding like this. Like it almost lost a lot of its fun. And I would just force myself to do it even if I didn't want to. And a lot of days I really didn't want to, which kind of sucked, because I was like, why? Like, I've spent my whole life doing this. What the fuck's wrong? And then I took a long look essentially at myself. I'm like, why? Like, why do I feel like this? And then I was like, oh, I'm just doing this shit to do it. Like, I'm like, what happened to doing this for fun? What happened to trying different types of content? Because I just felt fucking weird that day, and I thought if something would be funny, you know, like, and that's also partially why I stopped doing the covers too as fast. It's like I did that for 5 years, and and eventually just like became this just grind without having as much of that fun added to it. It wasn't like anything new. I was like, fuck, it's just here's another song, you know? So I've been a lot better place with that this past, actually during COVID, weird enough. Just trying new, different, weird, fucking fun videos without destroying what I've built. And I'll still do covers because I do love them, but I was able to regain the love for doing that stuff because I just didn't do it as much. Same thing with reactions. Even sometimes I do those too much, and I'm like, fucking hell, I can't look at editing another zoom in of me, you know, like during a breakdown. I can't. So yeah, that has helped me a lot. Just kind of doing it at a more proper pace, which is still fucking crazy. I basically upload every day.
Yeah, right.
But it's not like multiple uploads, at least. And I also schedule a bit beforehand times, which is something I never did. So yeah, no, that has helped me just make it more refreshing and fun. And if I'm ever feeling like that, I'm like, okay, like, I'm lucky enough where I've gotten to the point where it's like I don't have to do every single, like, I don't have to take every opportunity. And that's something that I've built my channel off of, doing the covers. It's like, this new song, this band, you know, whatever. Yes, like, just don't even worry about it. Just, I'm like a yes man. Like, even if it might do kind of well and I really like the song, I'll just go for it, right? And now I'm literally just pickier. I'm just like, if I really am, if it's not like making me go crazy for how much I want to do something, you know, I'm not super excited. I'm like, do I really need to do this? Like, even if they're a big band, like, no, like, who cares? You know, it's kind of a different shift in mindset. So that's been a lot healthier for me with that. And then, yeah, I've been able to be just more creative. So that makes me want to wake up and do shit. If I'm feeling one day, I'm just like, I'll actually just probably listen to some like music I'm writing, or like I'll, you know, that's usually something that inspires me again, is like when I'm working on stuff, like I'm working on stuff with Phil right now from All That Remains, and I'm just like, we have like instrumental tracks and all that, and I'm like, if I feel like shitty, I'll just like listen to one of those. I'll be like, holy shit, like, and that kind of like reinvigorates me a little bit, and that it makes sense because that's why I kind of started the whole YouTube channel in the place was original music. So I try to do that, and if not, like I'll can exercise. I feel like just being productive for me in some way, even if it has nothing to do with YouTube or music, helps me a lot. Like even if I'm just like, fuck it, I'm just gonna clean everything today, like just clean my whole room or do whatever I need to do. It really helps nowadays, and also just to steady your pace. So yeah, I don't have as many of those days, luckily.
That's good. Yeah, cool. It sounds so awesome that everything, just the whole effort you put into it pays off in a way, right? So cool.
Having a healthy pace with things, I think, is really important, and something I wish I told myself before. Being a yes man's great, and I think that was the thing, is like I saw so many people being the opposite, such a no man, like being so specific, like, oh, I'm only gonna do this, or only if this band drops something, and I'm like, the fuck, like you're like you're gonna wait every 2 years to do something, you know what I mean? Like what about, like, if you really want to do something, just do it instead of forcefully limiting yourself. So I took the extreme opposite route of that, which was do every single thing unhealthily amounts. So it's about finding the balance, like most things.
Okay. Yeah, and looking back, talking about covers, looking back on all those many covers that you did, it's a tough one, but is there like one cover you're like, yeah, that's my absolute favorite or the most proud of because it was so hard to learn?
Flames,
no, of course. Yeah, sure. What a question. Yeah, right.
Yeah, there has to be that one. That one took it out of me. I to this day, I'm like, that will be the hardest song I'll ever commit to playing. It's like, because I know how much effort that took, and if it wasn't like this whole event thing, because the only reason I did it was because we reached 1,000 subs or something on Twitch, and I was like, fuck, we actually have to do this now. And it was like a whole event where I would do it on Twitch and try to learn it on Twitch and stream it. And that made it all like really fun and worth it. And I feel like, and also because it's like this song that, again, like I grew up with Guitar Hero, and I've known about it, and I've known it's like that crazy track. So that was really like, even though I know I did it because we reached that goal, that really was very self-fulfilling to me, just because it was like, that showed me like how far I fucking come from this kid playing Guitar Hero that couldn't even play like that song on like hard mode or whatever, to dude actually being able to literally play it on guitar, real guitar. That was very self-fulfilling for me, and I pledged to that day I'm never playing anything harder than that, because it's unless I get that intense self-fulfillment, it is not fucking worth it. I don't care how many views it'll get, it's not worth it. It's a lot of work and shit, and that took me a long time, so I was like, nope, I'm good with that. And the problem is with content that takes a long time is then it backlogs all my content. If news out, it's like, well, I can't do it because I'm still doing this other stuff, and then I get backlogged, and that makes me really, I don't like that at all. So that's why, same thing, where it's like a song will come out and it's like, hey Nick, like this song's like pretty techy, and I'm like, that makes me want to play it less. It's like, that doesn't encourage me to want to learn this right now, because even though it could be fun, it's like, I know that's going to destroy my schedule for the week, and it's not worth it. And unless it's something I'm like, I have to do, like Dragon Force. That is by far the most satisfying one. And I think before that, probably Periphery Luck is a constant.
Ooh,
actually,
yes.
because I love the guitar solos, and I think that those are one of my favorite, at least, guitar solos in any song is Periphery Luck is a constant. I just love it. It's so smooth and it has so much melody, but it's such a fun thing. So covering that was also really, really fun. I love doing that.
Yeah, nice. So everybody who's listening, check out those covers and give it a thumbs up in the comment and all of the stuff. Another thing that is really dope is that bands are actually reacting back to you when you react or cover a song, they are actually commenting and leave a comment on your videos and even like expect you to react or cover. That is, I'm always so excited and happy if I see that, like when Spirit Box is just like giving a thumbs up and like, yes, he did it again. So do you remember like the first band reaction you got, like the first band feedback?
I always remember it as this one, but I think it's because they're also homies of mine, and you know, them being so kind definitely inspired me to want to do it more. I think it was Betraying the Martyrs, actually.
Okay.
My dude Baptiste, and he's such a cool dude. I remember he commented on the video, and it was like, dude, like, thank you so much. And so then I think I added him on Facebook, and he actually accepted and like said, like, we talked a bit and we got to know each other, and now we're, you know, friends and we've known each other for a while. But it's like, I think that was probably the first taste of that I kind of got, which was really cool because, again, I never expected that. I never was like, I'm doing this so bands can pay attention to me. Like, I don't give a fuck. Like, I was, to myself, I was a nobody. Like, I don't care. Like, whatever. I had 5K subs or 10K subs. Like, that's cool, but it's like, I'm just still a dude in my room fucking doing guitar covers. Like, you know, like, nothing super crazy or special here, right? So yeah, I that was probably the first one, and then I got a few more after that. But it's a lot more now in recent years. It's been really weird seeing and kind of fun. Yeah, like Spirit Box or whoever it might be, and even tying that to like the idea that labels now actually will hit me up, and I'm actually good friends with a decent chunk of labels because I love their bands and they know that I love their bands, and they'll show me that love and send me stuff, and I know it's beneficial to them because they get their bands promoted and whatnot, and it's beneficial to me because I don't have to worry about the shit getting blocked because of copyright. So yeah, you know, it's been such a shift, especially in the recent years, and it's crazy thinking of that journey of just starting band, you know, no one gave a fuck, and now it's like, oh shit, like people expect me to, like the bands expect me sometimes to actually do this.
So cool to see. But besides YouTube, you have, we talked about it in the short question for a bit, you have a band, a project called Termina.
Yes.
With another artist, YouTuber. You have to help me with the last name. It's Andy
Cizik.
Thank you.
Don't worry, everyone fucks it up, including myself.
Sorry, that's
just Andy S. He'll be, or C. Oh God, even I messed it up. Andy C. He'll be. Just call him Andy. Everyone knows which Andy.
Andy. Yeah, and you got out a new album. You dropped it in April, I guess. Yeah, was it April? Yeah,
it's like prehistoric now because there's so much new music, so it feels like it came out in 2005 at this point. But
yeah, it's called Dysphoria. It's heavy as fuck, and it's so fucking heavy. I can't listen to it while driving because I can't, because I'm just like that the whole time. I can't concentrate on the street. And I remember seeing you guys together when you put out the cover for Asking Alexandria's The Violence, I think.
Yeah.
Yes. That's we got
a few covers together. The biggest one we did was Post Malone's Rockstar, and that I think is still our best, like in terms of it actually translating, like really. Like, I remember hearing like the original and being like, this is a metal song. Like the melodies and everything, like this is a metal song, but it's, you know, whatever pop medium. That is a metal song. And I told Andy, I was like, let's fucking go. Like, just don't even say no. Just trust me.
Just do it.
And he fully trusted me. And, you know, it was one of the best things we probably made. And that's, even the sound from that cover, I think really almost defined our blend and what we kind of started with the actual Termina stuff, weirdly enough.
Okay, and how did that one come to life? You just said, all right, let's do our own music. You had some stuff written before and said, hey, you want to sing, scream?
So because I'll like, I'll have like, if I don't know the person as well, like I'll try to make sure like I have this pretty little package of like making sure everything is like, here is what your vocals will be on, because they don't know, right? They don't know what I'm going to write. We've already done a few things together at that point, so I was like, fuck, I'm just going to ask Andy if he's into it before I like waste my time trying to make this instrumental. And he's like, yeah, like, let's go. And essentially, like, I write the instrumental without changing the key. I don't like changing the key. I don't like messing with the melodies, because that's really the easiest way to make it sound a lot like the original, to be honest. And I feel like a lot of people really just switch everything up if they do like a cover, and it's like, that's cool, but at the same time, it'll lose the sense of the cover a bit if it's too different at the same time. So I like to keep a lot of the same melodies and a lot of the same, even BPM, the same, key, and just metalify it. That's basically all I did. I literally would have like the song in the background, and I track over the actual song. And then after I erase the song, of course, from the actual track, because we don't need it anymore, but to get inspiration to be like, wow, is all this metalifying really fitting right on top? I'll straight up just track guitars, I'll track a chorus, I'll track all that stuff with melodies, I'll track drums on top of it, and then I can also send Andy, like, here's the original track with vocals, as well as my instrumental, and then he can almost hear it with vocals metalified, because a lot of the actual, like, electronics get, like, you can't hear them anymore because the metal stuff is so loud, but you can still hear, like, the vocals a little bit. So it gives it an easier perspective, too, of how all the melodies will blend together. So I send him that, usually, and then he takes out obviously the vocals and then just tracks stuff himself and metalifies it, and then that's it. We mix and master it together kind of and just release it.
Nice. But did you I don't know, took classes for like music design? Yeah, it's insane because it sounds so clean. I don't have the right word for it. It sounds so huge. I don't know.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's really huge.
That.
Yeah.
I think Andy went to school a little bit for it. So he definitely helped, and he did the mastering and like also helped me a little bit on the mixing. But all my solo stuff, like that's just me, and as well as the Termina stuff, it's basically both of us. Where again, no, I never went to school for it. I just can watch YouTube videos, and with a lot of the things, same thing with like video. It's not like I never even had a video editing class or like filming class. You just fucking go with it. You go on YouTube, you take some knowledge, you experiment, you fail, you go on YouTube again, take more knowledge, experiment, you get better. Same thing with Photoshop, right? All those things I kind of just learned along the way because I had to. That's really it. And the mixing and mastering of the album was, we took our best, and as I'll explain, we're proud of it because it's definitely the best we could have done at the time of what we had and our knowledge. Looking back, I feel like that would have, if we actually had like a person mixing it, like an actual engineer, like I think it would have just really made it like kind of bigger in what we envisioned. Even though like I said, we're super happy with how it turned out because like, hey, we're like, fuck it, just do it us. We're gonna make it sound the best we can. That's it. And then I know doing this next album now that we're starting to work on is like we're gonna hit up a person to mix, like we're gonna hit up a good dude to mix this properly and master it so we can get that huge sound, and then we can just more so focus on writing and not worry about so much like, hey Nick, can you bring up like the ambience like 0.5 dB and going like that was, it's not fun doing that stuff, and like it's very tedious, and me and Andy both fucking hate the tedious stuff of just like going, we go back and forth for like 3 hours just like doing little tweaks, and it's like then we get tired with our ears and we're like, wait, is this even good anymore? So yeah.
Okay, and can you like imagine Termina being like a live band? Is that like an idea of you guys just getting on stage together and just, I don't know, do a tour? Come to Germany, tour. Come here.
Germany. Yeah, no, I would never, just because, I mean, I'd love to play live with Andy. I feel like our energy would be such a special thing.
Definitely.
And I have always said, even with Andy, I'm like, Andy, if we ever for some fucking reason play live with Termina, you do know what our encore song is going to be. He's like, what? I'm like, it's going to be our Post Malone cover. Like, it's going to be Rockstar. Like, there's no way you're not screaming Pop-Tart and fucking all that shit, live. And he's like, dude, yeah, we got to do that if we ever play live. But, Andy's a very much person he loves performing. He's a performer at heart. That is his, like, he loves writing, but I think he loves performing more, which for me, I'm the opposite. I love writing way fucking more than I care about performing.
Okay.
It's just, I don't know. I feel like performing, even though it's fun, you get that satisfaction. All the work that goes into playing for what we have like 30 minutes or something. It's just like, it's a lot of energy, and I know that 30 minutes is super special to a lot of people. For me, I've never cared as much about performing. I just like making content and I like writing. Like, that's really my forte. So, and even that aside, in terms of it actually just being worth it, I just don't think it's worth it. Andy's in like 50 bands. I'm a YouTuber full time. Like if we were to take like a month off, like,
oh yeah, wow.
I've never, first of all, even taken, I don't think, a week off of doing this, which is fucking crazy. But yeah, I've never even taken a week off. And, to go on tour, like, yeah, it'd be special. I'd love to meet people. And I'm sure performing would be fun. But at the same time, it's like, in terms of getting our name out there, in terms of it actually even being financially worth it, if anything, we'd probably lose money. And in terms of getting our name out there, one of us could just do a YouTube video and probably reach the same amount of people and just say, hey, go listen to Termina. Then we would get on that whole month run, to be honest. Because, again, it's not like we're a huge band or anything. It's just like, we're still like, a smaller kind of band doing our thing. So it just never seems worth it unless, like, the wanting to perform was at such a great, like, height that it kind of... It didn't. I don't care about the other stuff. Like, it's just like I wanted to perform so badly that I have to do it. Just don't have that personally. So, unless it's super worth it one day, like, sure, and even that, like, I like home. I'm not a dude who goes out for like a long period of time. I'd be like, all right, like, if this is a super worth it thing, like, sure, let's go like a couple of weeks. And that's it. That's why Termina, there's no touring planned for a long time, unless some crazy ass opportunity approaches, which won't happen. But yeah, it's not something we've envisioned, and that's cool. Andy, like I said, Andy gets his performing from Monuments and fucking every other band he plays. So he was like, yeah, dude, that's totally cool. Essentially with Termina.
Okay. Yeah, fair enough. But talking about new like Termina stuff, is it all up in the air, or do you have something to share, or it's like just in the baby steps? Like
it's in the baby steps. I have to start writing it basically this month too. The month's almost over. All right, so I got to start writing it quite soon. It's not like we have to. That's the thing. We wanted like we felt proud of our first album. We think we accomplished what we wanted to with it, which was like, here's us doing something together, experimenting with a few different things, making it so it's not like, hey, we're here and we're just a deathcore band, or nothing against just deathcore bands. There's deathcore bands that are killing it, but like, we like a lot of different stuff, and we get really sick fast of writing the same exact song. So even if there's just some different spice to it, like, that's fine. So that's why even our album, like, we had chill songs, like we had songs which were almost metal ballads in a way, and then we had pure fucking voodoo cult deathcore tracks on the same thing. And I love that variety. Even with my original stuff, I've always had that variety because it's just refreshing. It makes every song feel more special, a little bit more impactful than just like, oh, here's the voodoo cult deathcore song 2, here's voodoo cult deathcore song 3. So we're going to keep that balance, no doubt. We both love that balance, and same thing, Andy loves a lot of really heavy shit, and like Dance Gavin Dance and fucking Slaves and Amorosa, and I love that stuff too. So we really just want to take best of all the things we love, and just like we did with the first album, create that same kind of mixture and just do everything better, essentially. So the heavier parts are going to go heavier, the more chill parts are going to be catchier and even hookier and even more emotionally attaching, right? So doing all that, and also having a little bit more experimental fun, just like we did with the first album, even though technically, because people never heard our sound before, it was like everything was kind of experimental. But there was definitely songs which on that album were out of our comfort zone, like Maharu. That's a song that we didn't even put on the album, because it was just like really fucking wacky and kind of weird and out of our comfort zone. And yeah, so like doing experimental stuff, but even having the experimental tracks be even more experimental. Like if we do a deathcore math rock song, or like, like just weird fun shit, or like a trap metalcore whatever track, just on the album. Not saying the whole thing will be like that, but just adding that little spice here and there, why not? While still overall maintaining that variety and that sound that we know what worked from the first album and what didn't, pushing that forward. And I think The Edge of Time, which is the last song on the Dysphoria, is a great example of like where we were at going into this a bit more, because that was also the last song we actually just wrote for the album.
Oh, interesting. Okay, yeah.
So definitely that groove groove vibe with melodies, catchy melodies, darker melodies, heaviness, ambience, good, hooky choruses, of course. Even if it's full screaming choruses, I don't care. It's got to have a hook. We've had, I think Dark's, what's it called? What do we end up calling it? The voodoo cult song. We used to call it Dark Spirits. I forgot what we ended up. Servant of Death. That one. Okay. I'm still thinking in terms of demo names. Yeah, Servant of Death and Blood Echo were both screaming choruses. I loved how those turned out because you would hear those and you'd still almost want to scream along at that to it. So more of that too, and all of that trying to do it better with a session drummer. Hoping to get my buddy Chris Turner from Ocean's 8 Alaska on. But in general, I'd love to I definitely want to, if we're going to have a session drummer thing, and I want to have a dude who is good with groove and tech. Those are, in my opinion, some of my favorite drummers, or dudes that can take a moment and groove and do a lot of crazy ghost stuff, but also if they got to do some crazy little blast fill, they can throw that in because why not? I love having that versatility as a drummer. So I hope, I really want to get whoever can do that. I know Chris Turner. I know a few other dudes as well who might be into it. I mean, Andy, you have to talk about that. And then also just someone to actually mix and master it, essentially. Again, just throwing names like Buster, Humanity's Last Breath would be super cool, or even Nolly, things like that. We'd love to have that package. But yeah, again, I have to talk with Andy. We have to kind of discuss over everything, what we're looking for. But it's very early. But excited. We're not gonna release something shittier. You know what I mean? That's us. We're crazy with that stuff. Is we know the first album. We know the standard we set. It's not like we fucking changed the game or anything, and we're aware of that. But we know we set a specific standard, and we are refused to go lower than that. It's only building on top and top and more and more, and getting better and having crazier tracks and funner tracks and hookier tracks. That's it. And there's going to be chunky ass riffs, and so everyone doesn't have to worry. And very heavy breakdowns, I'm sure.
Yes. Oh, that sounds amazing. Looking forward to it. But talking about new music, there is some dope music around the corner there.
A lot of music.
Wow. Yeah. What are some bands you're looking forward to, dropping the new album, just throw in some Spirit Box?
Spirit Box. Yes, Spirit Box. I'm psyched for Bullet's album.
Yes.
I love Bullet. That's not a guilty pleasure, but that's something I grew up with is Bullet, the Poison. So
and the new song is killer. I love that one.
Very excited with the new song. So I'm really excited about the album. I don't know. I mean, maybe Slipknot if they drop anything. It's usually it's been 2 years, right? I think it's been almost 2 years. At least 2 years.
Yeah, it's been 2. Yeah.
So them. Oh God, I always forget. We check out so many bands that I forget what comes out and what's not coming out. But yeah, definitely Spirit Box, Bullet are right now probably right at the top of my what's happening. Oh, Slaughter to Prevail. Very excited.
Oh God, yes.
Slaughter to Prevail. I think that's going to be really.
I'm a little bit scared actually.
Scared.
Listen to that record. Yeah, it's going to be amazing. Yeah.
Very excited for that.
Okay. So, Nick, before I let you go and do your YouTube madness, creating good content for us, there is one last thing that I need from you. With every episode, I know that you got a playlist out, a Spotify playlist with the bangers that you like and that you listen to. I have a playlist as well, which is up with every episode. And right now, I just need songs or bands that you love listening to while driving. While driving around, going out on a trip. It can be anything, I don't know, some 80s songs, there are no guilty pleasure songs. Just give me some songs and bands that I can put into that.
Right now I've been looping between, like I said, Sleep Token Alkaline is awesome. New Make Them Suffer song is great. Contraband, I think it's called.
Yeah.
That song's amazing. New Lotus Eater was really good too, featuring Ollie. Loved that. I'm trying to think of what I checked out. The new Bullet, is great. Those Spirit Box is always an ace. New Memphis Mayfire was solid.
Oh yeah.
Slaughter to Prevail, Baba Yaga. Any of those. Or if you like an old classic, probably one of my favorites has to be either Bullet, Hand of Blood, or As I Lay Dying, Through Struggle.
aim into that. Yeah. Okay, and maybe some songs, I don't know, that are a little bit like off the heavy scene. I don't know, some I don't know, you what you're listening, like some pop music maybe, some I don't know, some Gaga maybe.
I don't listen to too much pop. I definitely always try to keep up with like what's trending and stuff, because I want to sometimes do a metal cover of that stuff, and sometimes it catches my eye. But yeah, Post Malone's always great to jam. Some Travis Scott stuff's cool too. Danian and Theo, they used to be in Upon This Dawning. Those guys, they're doing a trap thing now. They make cool music.
Wow.
I haven't kept up with them as much, but when they originally started, they made some cool, fun trap stuff.
Yeah.
Other than that, I mean, there's all the math rock stuff like Polyphia or Chica, or all that stuff's awesome too. Very chill vibes. Yeah, that mainly would be it.
Okay. Yeah, I put that on the playlist, and some Termina songs for sure. Nik, thank you so much again for taking your time and taking time from your busy YouTube life. I wish you all the best of luck with everything that comes up for you and your channel and for Termina. Yeah, I think we're done here.
Awesome. Yeah, thanks for having me. I appreciate it. And
welcome.
Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, so have a good day. I don't know, what time is it in Toronto? You're from Toronto, right?
Yeah, it's just the afternoon. It's like it's almost 1 o'clock here, so I got a lot of weird, Instagram posts and all that fun stuff.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Have a great day, and we'll stay in contact.
Yes, thanks.
And stay metal.
Yes, of course.
Yeah. Bye.
What a cool dude. Such a Canadian, so humble and grounded and kind. Amazing. So, check out Nik Nocturnal's YouTube channel. Subscribe, comment, like, share it on your socials, share it with your friends, show it to your family. Follow Nik on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. He's doing a lot of Twitch streams if you're into that. And there's some dope Nik Noc merch as well. You can find that on YouTube. And of course, check out Nik's band Termina. Give it a listen, get the music out there. Last but not least, check out the Metal Tripping playlist with Nik on Spotify. And there you can find all those bangers that we just talked about. Yeah, that's all I have for you right now. Stay tuned for the new episode. Right now, I'm gonna show you some Termina. This is their banger song, Desolate Spectre. Have a good one, bang your heads off, stay safe, and stay metal!
Desolate Spectre of the damned. Desolate Spectre of the damned.